So here we are.
Oh, we're here.
Oh, yes, we're here.
That was without warning.
A little bit of well, we were needing to be out here.
Had time to self-judge or nothing.
Yeah. Well, how long you need?
At least 10 or 15 minutes of self-judgment.
10, 15 minutes of self-judgment. Go the other way. Yeah, there it is.
In the room.
So, hi everyone.
There you go, Cam. Thank you.
We're both on balls.
You can say hi, and then you must leave.
Hi, so that's my YouTube channel.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. There's that. Hello. So, wow, they're all jumping in here. Yeah, we decided we would come out here and say hello. You know, it's been a minute. It's Monday. So hopefully none of you got a case of the Mondays.
My sugar was low. I had to have a cracker.
Yeah. Well, we kind of wanted to talk a little bit.
You didn't tell me it was going live right now.
Well, you said that you want to go, and you said yes.
Okay.
So I was just following, protocol, or should I say, following my twin. Yeah. Well, let's see.
What did you do over the weekend?
I saw Darius Rucker from 10 feet away. I watched Hootie and the Blowfish. It was amazing. It was an amazing concert. His voice doesn't crack. He literally can sing. It was absolutely incredible. I wanted to thank you because you were the bestest date ever.
Oh, it was a good day too. It was a good time.
It was extremely hot though.
It was so hot.
Yeah, Hold My Hand was one of the.
We saw Bare Naked Ladies and Hootie and the Blowfish.
Yeah, so we actually got to hear the theme for Big Bang Theory real time.
It was funny because a lot of people thought Lee was Darius Rucker at the concert.
I don't see it.
It was so funny. It's like, yeah, no, not him.
Yeah, no. Mm-mm.
I kind of have.
Short. He's short.
Yeah, he's not a tall guy.
No.
He's not a tall guy.
So.
Hello,
Germany.
I kind of have a question for them.
Oh, okay.
We have about 18 in the room, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yes, you do, Coach.
Angela's in the room.
Resemblance. Yes, you do.
She's one of our coaches, and she's pretty awesome. We're excited to have her. In coaching, now that there's a coach in the room, it's the perfect question. When you're looking for a coach, for any reason, let's just throw out there relationship reasons. Doesn't have to be twin flame reasons. Oh. Darius Rucker does wish, let me tell you. But when you're looking for coaching, I've been going through something personally for, I don't know, a few weeks now, right? And I haven't said anything, or most oftentimes I would write a blog about how I'm feeling about this, right? When you're looking for coaching, are you looking for someone, low key, real honest, are you looking for someone to sugarcoat the truth? Are you looking for someone to walk on eggshells? Are you looking for someone to tiptoe around? Let's throw a scenario out there. Say you got a married couple, wife's cheating. Wife continues to cheat, and he continues to take her back, and she continues to cheat. It's time for him to make some decisions and to do something about this. She won't talk to him. She's off doing whatever it is she's doing, but he's okay with a phone call saying everything will be all right. I've got to finish this up and then I'll come back to you. How would you like to be coached in a situation like that? I'm interested in some answers here because I've struggled with some things with coaching in the past couple weeks. And I strive to stay in the truth, right? The truth of the matter is she's cheating. And she continues to cheat. And where is his self-worth? Where is his worth? As coaches, in this scenario, The client is the client, right? Not anybody else. I want to coach the client into the truth, into what's real, away from delusion, obsession, repression, right? All of these things. It's not okay. It's not okay.
Right.
And allowing a client to think it's okay, for me inside, makes me feel like I failed as a coach. Coaching somebody into the truth. Telling somebody what the truth is. I'm a real coach. I'm a coach who keeps it real. And I'm a coach who's going to be honest with you and tell you it's not healthy behavior. And it's toxic. And you're doing more harm to yourself than you are good. And there's so much more to you. You know what I mean? There's so much more to you than this. And just to allow this to be a staple in your life, for somebody to treat you like you're being treated is an injustice to yourself. And as a coach, that's what I want to bring out. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious, is it easier for you to hear sugarcoating of your situation? Or is it easier for you to hear the truth? And if you don't like what you hear, how do you handle that? If somebody tells you what you don't want to hear in coaching and therapy, whatever, what do? How do you handle that? Curious.
Okay.
Anyway, enough about that.
Yeah. I always want direct, no sugarcoating. I was this way even when I was an athlete. I don't need anyone saving my feelings. I thought that was commendable.
I want to hear from people who have the life and marriage I want.
Oh.
If you just come this way, they can see the kind of shenanigans that we deal with on a daily basis over in the office. There she is.
There. Yeah. So much for Mike and Jim. The bunny has taken.
We have a yellow bunny and a black bunny.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. We
wiggled our noses.
Look. They can see. Yeah. One ear's down, one ear's up. Yep.
She wants a carrot.
Yes.
But Lee has given them all to her, and
she keeps coming up and asking for. So
keeps coming up and demanding more.
Hard to say. Coaches need to consider clients' entire life circumstances. Their relationship is intimate. I would offer universal information regarding the situation. Client needs to be made to think. I need the direct truth. Well, raw truth, please. Processes it. Let out the emotions and feelings around it. Accept it. How long have we been in union? 2012 till now. So 7 years. Wow. It's flown by, hasn't it? 2012. Damn, that is 7 years, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it didn't feel like it. It feels like just yesterday.
I need the direct truth.
Yeah.
The raw truth, please. Process it.
Yeah, that's
out loud. Yeah. How long have you been in union? That's where you left off.
Yes, 7 years. So, the bunny. It's Obi, is an obsidian. Obi, so we call her Obi. And Obi is destructive. She's already broken.
I broke the face today.
Yeah, today. And we won't go into the other days. I feel like softness is so crucial in our world. We can still speak truth, but be soft with that truth. The truth doesn't. Here's the thing. I could tell you, if it weren't for the truth, I would have never changed. But it was actually swallowing that truth and actually digesting it, I think, is always one of the challenges we have, because we always want to throw it back up and look for something different. Because when you have to swallow the truth, sometimes the truth is going to let you know some things about yourself you don't particularly like and you don't particularly want to face. It always made sense that, like in this connection, I always wanted to blame you for what I wasn't. It's easier to point the finger and tell the truth to somebody about themselves, but it's just as hard to point back at yourself and tell the truth about yourself. And in this connection, it warrants and needs that truth, even though you don't want to face it. There are things that have happened in my life that literally made me run away from you, and it had nothing to do with you, but I told myself it had everything to do with our connection. And I wasn't ready for the truth, and it was really kind of absorbing that truth. And then when you don't go towards the truth, you end up finding cycles. And those cycles are what ends up breaking up and tearing apart anything that you're trying to build in connection, because you're afraid to tell the truth, or you're telling yourself you know what the truth is without actually hearing the truth from the other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This particular marriage incident, for example, it really wasn't, to stay there, he just wasn't loving himself.
Right.
And he didn't tell himself that.
Right.
He thought, okay, well, I'm just going to give her all my love. Well, you're not loving you if you're staying.
Right.
So how are you going to give something you're not even giving to yourself?
Right.
Ultimately, the person leaves, and then the other person realizes what they've lost. And then there's a whole lot of work that has to be done on the back end, because the truth is what was missing to begin with to keep them in a very solid marriage.
I agree with what this person said. No lies, but no brutality.
No, absolutely.
Right, for sure. But here's the issue. I think it's not even an issue, but it's a factor. There are times, can't even lie, there are times when, after a cycle has gone on for so long and so long and so long, that I do kind of come on and say, where is your self-worth? Where are you in this? Why are you allowing yourself to let this happen to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
Where is you're worth more than this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
You deserve better than this. It's so much. She's.
Would you
It's every
stop
day.
eating the dustpan? Look at all the chewing.
She likes it.
He has one.
we have an aggressive bunny.
More than aggressive. Yeah.
But there are times when I am a little bit brutal when I come across with, hey, this has been going on for 7 years or longer, 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, 12 months, whatever, right? There's got to be a breaking point where you just accept and settle.
Mm.
And settling to me is giving up, right? Not on everybody else, but on yourself.
Mm.
You're giving up on yourself. He's giving up on himself by allowing himself not to live his own life. Find somebody who loves him as much as she loves, or as much as he loves her.
Right.
Find someone who gives you that overwhelming, unconditional love, right? But you can't do that until you find that in yourself. Anyway.
Yeah. So no lies, but no brutality. It might be obvious to you, but to them, perhaps the issue is the focus needs to be on them first to hear it. Possibly previous trauma and is in the way. I feel it's important to find which coach works best for you. Coaches and clients aren't always perfect matches. Consider everyone's needs. I agree, Cassandra.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. I'm too emotional to be given a harsh being told you or told so. Just let me know without the emotions and I can figure it out from there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the toughest things that I think that we all really are still coming into is to realize that the truth doesn't need judgment. The truth is the truth. It's when you add judgment to the truth that you actually tweak it, and you could see brutally honest, or you could see feeling judged for whatever the truth is. The truth doesn't know what judgment is.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I think we all seem to be triggered when it comes to the truth, is we all want to stand in some form of judgment of what the actual truth is, whether it be self-judgment or not.
Right.
It's hard to accept sometimes that self-judgment is taking over where the truth should be, where it should be in that space. You can't let go of something if you're in judgment.
Right.
And that's where the truth ends up getting twisted or it gets lost. And then you end up, in this particular case, an example is this woman was cheating on her husband, and the husband was standing there saying, well, I know that I've done. And as soon as he said that, it's like, wait a minute, you're going off track of the truth.
Right.
Truth is she choosing somebody else? She's not choosing you.
Right.
But are you even choosing yourself in this? No, you're not. So that's where we got to go first. We can't go over whatever behaviors are outside.
And the truth, but isn't the truth in that though? You said the truth at the core. This is why we work as such a great team, because he works with the generational thing and a cycle thing, and
Yes.
I'm more of a truth.
I connect all of
Yeah.
that to find out why you're doing it.
And it's not that I don't have compassion, because I have a heart full of compassion. But sometimes, what you were saying just now is the truth in that,
Mm-hmm.
the core truth in that,
Yes.
right, is you've realized, or somehow, somewhere you realize, you're not being chosen. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The person isn't there.
Right.
They're whatever, cheating, off doing, working, off climbing Mount Everest, who knows?
Right.
Right? But what she's saying to him is, I would like to come home. Let's like to talk. I would like to come home. Let's talk. Let's talk. Right? So he hangs on to every morsel of, I want to come home. I want to talk. 2 years of these morsels is what he's lived on. Right? He's lived on these morsels of, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. You did the same thing. Right? Living on these morsels. And where is his self-esteem going? She isn't choosing him.
But he's not choosing.
He's not choosing himself.
And that's the core.
Yeah.
That's always been
Right.
the core. We often expect somebody to come and choose us in a space where, first we're choosing ourselves, and then as soon as they come, we give up responsibility of choosing ourselves to somebody else. We've seen this so much in this connection, that the other person is supposed to meet something within the other person for them to actually feel whole. Where their whole was already there to begin with. That's what drew the person to them. And that's what really shows up first in connection. So it's almost as though you have to remove all of that to get to the deeper truth. Want to make sure I don't miss anybody here. Coaches are here to help the client find their truth, their power direction. It should be uncomfortable and doesn't feel good. Sitting in that is the power, and it is the way to be the light. That's true. Have you heard of Abraham Hicks? What do you think about her statements?
We've heard, but I haven't
haven't
heard the name.
Yeah.
I thought it was a man, though. I don't know why.
I think it's a channeling. I don't know that for a fact. Put his facts first. The truth is facts, but I'd also say perhaps that's an extended session with a close-up follow-up appointment, so they aren't left hanging. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Hello from Russia.
Russia.
So happy to catch you here. We love you too.
Yes.
Has ever been a question of empath narcissist dynamic, or are you both empaths?
We are both empaths. Differently.
But I don't really, I think for both of us now, we both realize something about either being an empath or a narcissist or anything. The moment you're labeled, you end up having to show up in your design. We've realized that we like to be out of the design. We don't want to be defined by what you can label somebody, because we've all been through all kinds of different things which can categorize lies, whether it was narcissistic, whether it was all of these things. Ultimately, once you look at it, you look at things in connection, you start to realize that the labeling has been what's keeping us separate already. I could never call her a narcissist. I could never call her an empath. But what I can call her is love, because that one is undefined and should stay undefined. The moment you really, if you're in this connection and you have found a way to label the other person, don't worry, you've labeled yourself too. You just don't even see it yet, because you'll be a victim of narcissism. You'll be a victim of a narcissist. And once you become a victim, you'll find a way to complain. And once you find a way to complain, you find a way to disconnect from yourself. Mm-hmm. How do you stop doing that is what coaching should be about. That's where you find an ultimate coaching, when you can find somebody to help you break certain cycles you're in. Those cycles are relative to what label you've given to yourself, or that to which you're connected to, or those that you're connected to, or the person you're connected to. Mm-hmm. How do you see through that is going to be where the truth actually is. So, amen on that. Truth, I like that. That was good. Sorry. Totally not negating uncomfortable feelings at all. That is natural, because sometimes things are hard to sit with. Shadow work can be hard, but I genuinely feel softness is what I need personally. Absolutely. For sure. Soul. And every soul needs to experience the softness and the love that truth is offered. Even if the truth doesn't feel right at the time, it does feel right to have the truth. Please take that, and if you have to write it down or slow it down, because sometimes I say things and don't worry, it's just spirit coming through me. I've learned to just accept it. Is there some kind of karma this person feels involved?
I don't think so.
It depends on this person. I don't know necessarily believes in karma, and that's kind of something that should be talked about. People who believe in karma actually have karma. People who don't really know what karma
really
is.
Get it.
They don't really. They realize that karma means that somehow, some way, you're attached to the past, and that the past has to repeat until you're done realizing that that's all karma's ever been. It's just the power of suggestion. Thank you, Lee and Sherry, for all you do for this community. Oh, we're in a community. I love this world. Thank you. I'm glad we're here. Sherry, you made me find my self-worth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, we have a rabbit. You want one? We've got one. We got
one just like her.
A little baby. She needs a home.
She's in
this is our way of touting it out there. If you need a it's half Plymouth Giant and half Holland Lock.
Yeah.
It's a big bunny.
Yeah. She's not ready to be taken away from mom yet. Yeah. We lost the whole rest of the litter to an infection, bacterial infection. We got it squared away out there because we don't have time we need more hobbies to do, because we work all the time, and we have not one but two businesses now. We do a lot of work.
More than two. We've got several.
We got several, but the two main ones, we do Relationship Reinvented, and we now have Patterson PR. We work with a lot of reality stars and things, and we're organizing a big event in September, so that's fun. And the rabbits help. They help not. Yeah.
First live thought, been reunited with my twin 2 months ago after 10 years off on communication. I'm getting a divorce and fixing me now. The off on communication, only find a way to keep it off. If you're struggling with that, we're here, we got you. I found out if it wasn't for my connection to rattle my cage and get me moving forward in the dissolvement of my marriage. So it was a huge wake-up call that my marriage had clearly been over. Congratulations. Hi. Worth took me a long time to understand tangibly. I think there needs to be more work in this direction all around.
I agree. I agree.
I can understand that.
For sure.
Worth is very tricky. You're absolutely right.
Cameron.
Yeah. I see it.
Cameron. Subscribe to Cameron, please.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Let's see you, Cam.
Did this person cheat previously and have a guilt complex, or has forgiven themselves? Cheating comes from telling yourself you're not enough, so you keep searching for people you want to have around you to show you that you are enough, but ultimately none of it ever fixes it. I'll say that differently. To choose to cheat would mean that you're looking for something to fulfill something in you that you're not fulfilling within yourself, nor with the person that you're telling yourself that you're in love with. This literally happens in all kinds of ways to all kinds of different people. And it's not necessarily in an adultering kind of way. It literally, you can cheat by not telling the truth. You can cheat by not telling yourself the truth. You can cheat by telling yourself that you're not good enough. You can cheat by telling yourself you're never going to be enough. You can cheat by telling yourself you don't matter. You can cheat by trying to tell yourself you should end your own life. There's so many ways that we could look at cheating, but ultimately the one way we should all be looking at cheating is everybody's infected with it. And it's not necessarily to say it's a bad thing. It's the truth. The truth is, what have you cheated yourself out of in your lifetime based on something that happened in the past? That's a good one, right? I mean, we're pointing at something that no longer is, but you literally in this moment make yourself suffer for what no longer is. How's that not cheating? And when are you going to stop doing that? Cheating?
Very good. Very good.
We both are great together. The balance has helped me. Has helped me so much. Well, we like our balance too. Well, they're doing you balance.
With this balancing on these balls.
Hey, you know, we're up in age, so us bouncing around on balls.
Well, that was our workout for the day. Glad you could join us.
Yes, yeah.
And to get in on those workouts.
Let's see. To hear you say he's not choosing himself seems to ring true and clear now for me. Although I finally come into this, he needed to remove himself from her and be to himself to realize there is better. Yeah, that's true. There's a better choices.
This is cracking me up.
Oh, which one? Twin Flames, Lexington Steel.
Here, my man.
Oh!
No, but his name. Good looking hunky. We'll be the judge of that.
That's good.
Awesome.
All right. There is better choices. Let's see. Yes, I wasn't choosing myself. I was thinking he will eventually come around. I was showing him how to treat me because I wasn't treating myself. I was treating myself second best. A majority of the time, how can somebody treat you better if you don't treat yourself better?
Right.
It's like you open up a little door for them to do this. And as soon as they stop doing it, or as soon as they stop to see how you're responding to it, you close the door.
Right.
And you start treating yourself like shit again, and you expect them to stay with you.
Right.
Why do people do this?
It's taught behavior.
But the only way to go back and realize what you were taught is to go back and find the truth of why you were taught.
Right.
Huh. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Victim mentality is codependence. I have a problem with shame. How to deal with it? Oh, shame.
Man,
Shame
let me
is
tell you.
Shame is probably one of the most.
Shame is a hot mess.
Shame is the gateway to suffering.
It is. Here's the thing with it rings true in any type of abusive situation or any type of situation. But I'm going to use my situation, the sexual abuse I endured as a child. Why would a 10-year-old, right?
Yes.
Why would a 10-year-old carry shame over something that's happening to them that they don't know is shameful?
True.
Right?
That's a good question.
They don't.
No.
What happens is, as I got older and realized that what was happening is shameful, and that what was happening to me was shameful, and who it was happening by was shameful, right? I didn't understand. So all of that shame went into me, right? Because I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know anything about it.
Right.
Right. Especially in the sexual abuse situations, people don't say things. Kids don't say things because they feel shame. they feel like it's their fault. They feel it's bad. Because what happens is you may find your child in a compromising position with another child. They're just children. They have their clothes off. They're naked on sliding down a slip and slide or whatever, right? They don't know. They don't know that what they're doing at this point, they're just naked kids. But what happens is the parents snatch them up. You never do that again. Don't you ever get close to that boy or that girl again. You stay away. Don't you ever put yourself in a position like that. And we fill ourselves full of shame because we did something bad.
Mm.
And we didn't know it.
Shame is probably one of the worst infections you get from judgment. You don't see it as an infection. And I think there's a lot of guilt that follows the shame. And the guilt is not necessarily that other people will feel a certain way about you. It's that you're already feeling a certain way about yourself, which leads into the shame. Would you have shame had this 10-year-old spoke up and told everybody what was happening? What would have happened with the shame? And that's usually what causes a greater shame. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's almost like if I speak up and tell the truth, I'm going to be shamed. We hear it all the time. I can't tell my family and friends I'm a twin flame. It's like this, well, are you taking the judgment they would give to you and give it to yourself first and then say they gave it to you? Or are you really just trying to find a way to make it make sense that you've lost your mind? Because it doesn't make any sense logically to tell somebody, I've met somebody I'm really strongly connected to. This kind of connection is called this. But for me, it's this. That's the truth. And literally people will hide under a rock.
Oh, they don't. It's the stupid name, the twin flame name.
Well, it's what
I just say connected.
It's not really.
Spiritually connected to him.
I think we could change this. I think there is a way to change this. It's not that saying twin flame. Let's backtrack because we've got to make this clear. Being a twin flame doesn't necessarily we've made it into all of these different things, but the one thing we haven't made it is connection. Without any judgment, without any past, without any future, we just haven't pointed at the presence of connection, the presence of being able to see in connection and feel connected. Why would we ever, in a million years, think to ourselves, it's a bad thing to be connected?
Right.
But if we're watching and we're all really trying to tell each other we're more awakened, why have we made this into such a bad thing to be connected? Has anybody figured this out yet? It really doesn't make much sense to keep judging something when the truth is you're connected. I think it's beautiful to be connected. 10 years ago, I probably would have felt like I was like, okay, this is a haunting, right? This is mystical, this is magical. Okay, what did I do to deserve? All of the judgment really kind of came early. But now when I'm looking at it, I'm going, God, it's pure and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And that's even judgment. Then I go, wait a minute. Am I trying to find words to attach to connection? And does the connection even care? The truth is the truth, right?
Yeah.
I think being with you is a beautiful connection. I love to dance in it. I love the butterflies you give me, and you've been so good. You can go up against my nose and you smile at me. It's so sweet. So no, I don't know that I could agree anymore. I mean, I think what's happened is we've taken it and so many different directions have gone from all of these different mystics and all the different things that could get thrown into this, but nothing ever points to just being connected and being happy in connection. I mean, do we all know who we are when we're happy in connection versus who we are when we're not? How's somebody talking that true? I guess maybe I'm just deep in it. And I'm deep in it now, and I don't seem to have a problem with it. I think I have the purest part of it, of just saying, hell, can I? Oh, you guys are
Oh,
still
they're
here.
there.
Sorry. we tried this once before. Let's see. I feel
We
lucky I
missed
get to
some,
see
I
you
think. I
both
don't
2
wanna-
days ago. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Great explanation of cheating. Okay. Where we
I
saw
don't know.
this.
I don't know.
we're
We're
here.
lost.
I feel lucky. 2 days in a row. Tomorrow for our live. Oh, okay. Hello, my fellow Ohioans.
Oh, where are you in Ohio?
How
Curious.
happy I am to find you guys. Yes. Come on. Sherry, you are beautiful. And Lee, oh my.
Oh, I know it.
I tried to cheat this process to get to Union faster, and it was an epic
Oh,
fail.
how was that?
How did you cheat?
Oh,
Is there a process to getting with your
Oh.
twin? Did somebody put out like this is the process to get with your twin, and then people followed it? And how did that work? Cheating is often a distraction our ego has chosen to embroil itself with to avoid the truth longer. You preach it, girl.
yeah, that was
Mhm.
on point.
Yes, totally agree with that. No?
Why are there readers out there that think that true DFs are not married? Not true. Oh man. Okay, here I am. I'm going to try not to go off onto a tangent. Hang on. Sherry, be cool. Sherry, be cool. Sherry, be cool. Woo! Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Can we use the truth?
I
can use the truth
mean,
here. I
we
can
can put in the truth, but I'm going to say this. I have a problem. I have a big problem. A big problem. The problem's big, folks. With coaches and other counselors, whatever, telling people that they are not a TF, that they are not a true DM, that they are not a true FM, that they are not a true whoever told you that, shame on them. And I meant the word shame. We just talked about it. Shame on them. Shame on these people who are telling people that this person is or not the one that they're connected to. There's plenty of them out there doing it. And there's nothing going to stop it. Nobody has the authority to tell you that you are not connected to somebody or that your divine feminine isn't real. I'm married. So that statement is untrue.
Let's see. Think that
That's all I have to say about
true DFs. What's DF?
The divine feminine.
Wait a minute. I'm confused. I'm confused.
I'm confused.
Man or woman?
Right.
Okay. So are we all made up of masculine and feminine energy?
Yeah.
So what you're saying when you have DF, what have you done with your M on the inside? Is it no longer divine too? I mean,
It's the same thing that I do.
But is divine whole or is divine pieces? Because if I'm made up of both masculine and feminine energy, it would be up to me to decide.
Mm-hmm.
Divine masculine, divine feminine is within me and can come out of me. If I'm literally telling myself I have to stand in one, I've already disconnected from another. So shouldn't we all be, oh, well, this is not going to sound good. Shouldn't we all be DMFs? I'm sorry, but it sounded so good in my head until I realized what it would sound like outside.
That was cute. That was cute.
But I would consider myself a DMF. So, and you can take that however it's stated.
Everybody's hearing it. Everybody's hearing it in their head. Don't say you're not hearing it because you're hearing it right here.
Divine MF. I'm a divine MF.
You are.
Somehow, some way,
You are a divine MF.
and it's the truth. Here's the
Okay.
thing. If we're all
We're
made
getting
up
out
of
of
both
hand.
energies, why are we separating one from the other when we know both of them create life?
Y'all
It's
are
almost
saying it
like
in
we-
your head.
Sorry, but I am a DMF. Let's see.
Can I call you that the rest of the day?
You absolutely can. As a matter of fact, you should get me a shirt.
I'm gonna get you a T-shirt that says
DMF.
DMO.
What are the readers out there that think that true DMF?
I'm getting
Yeah.
one too.
Maybe there is no twin flame at all. We are all soulmates. What would you do about it if it was just a human construct? Here's the thing about that. On the inside, I could tell you all day long about what this is going to make noise and say, but in here, there's something that actually feels something in a vibration and a frequency that actually shows up in her, and vice versa. And when we go in and we're actually in that space, I just don't know any other space where I've seen it. I don't know that I could literally make that up in my head. I tried to get out of my head about it. I tried to go into my head with it. I don't know. I would just rather know that there is something that is unknown in connection that we're all starting to experience in connection, and we're all ready to just jump into it because it seems much more pure than what's been. It's hard to have a relationship because then you got to pretend to be something you're not, only for them to fall in love with something you're not. And then you get mad at them for falling in love with who you were in a relationship
Right.
because and then when you get tired of playing that role, you literally want them to adjust to who you become instead of accepting you for who you are.
Mhm.
I don't know that you could actually exist in a relationship after you've been in connection. I think that's what everybody struggles with.
Mhm.
How can I be with anybody when I'm connected? You've been with people while you're connected already. You just didn't pay attention.
Right.
You just don't know how you show up now being connected to yourself. It sucks to work with someone you have a spiritual connection with. Sucks bad. Left the job after 3 years to run. I don't regret it. Nothing intimate happened, but it was too intense. The sending you love. Oh, hi, Josie. Coach, we got a coach.
Oh,
in
we
here.
have another coach in the room.
I carried shame as a young little girl. I told and was called a liar. Oh, Haley and Jerry. Hi. I think society has blended connection and attachment,
Oh,
which is
liar.
why the journey is about detaching from an outcome.
Mhm.
Yeah, expectations are a pain in the ass.
Ooh, I got this next one.
What do you think about open relationships with a TF? Was together for a year, been apart for a year due to commitment fear, then in talking nearly the whole time. Both want connection without labels.
Here's the interesting thing. After meeting Lee, and after actually going into separation and being with other people, right? There's no possible way at all. Disclaimer for us, or for me at least, I could never, ever even think about sharing you with someone else. And it's not being stingy with you. There's a level of intimacy in this connection that cannot be shared.
Mm.
There's a level of intimacy that shouldn't be shared. To me, union is monogamous. Hey, look, I'm here to tell you I will watch Sister Wives all day. I'd love to have a sister wife. I would love to have a sister wife to come in and help me do dishes, clean, help raise these kids, help do all kinds of shit, but she has to sleep in the basement.
She wants a maid.
She wants to sleep in the basement. The level of intimacy there is sacred, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's like ancient. It's ancient and it's sacred to me, right? We have separated and went in another direction with other people. It wasn't the same. It will never be the same. It will never be the same for me. Never placed. Never me.
Hmm.
Sherry, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on here.
Somebody's trying to call somewhere on, yeah,
Uh-oh.
yeah, emergency. Somebody
We
must
get
have
it,
been
we get
watching the video. That's how that goes. I think it goes back to ego, caring about what others think. So we don't want people to think we live in some sort of fairy tale land, because how do you explain feelings when it's not coming from logic? You explain feelings quite simple. Logic would mean that you have to go in your head to explain something that your mind doesn't know how to feel. I can sit here and tell you, last night, as Sherry's shins were hurting, I kept feeling the sharp sensations going through my legs. It's because of connection. It's not because I'm thinking I want to experience it.
That was nothing fun.
Anything about what I think. If I hurt my hand and she's going, God, my hand's throbbing, and I'm looking at her going, sorry, nobody's ever told us that this was possible.
It happens all the time.
It's interesting, because when we have people here, something happens. If I get a little tipsy, she's over there cutting up and kidding around because the alcohol went in one and came out the other.
Right.
You guys, this isn't literally somebody trying to tell you how to be, or somebody out there has took everything and put what you can experience in this connection in a book someplace for you to read. It's either you're going to be in your body to experience it or you won't.
Mm-hmm.
Being in your body is not being in your head. They're two different. You're right. That it's not even two lines of thinking. It's one thinks, one doesn't. And this is the part that I think everybody comes into the Civil War with in this connection. I don't like what I think over what I'm feeling. Mm-hmm. What I feel is telling me one thing. What I think is telling me something else. When do you look at both of those, and when do you surrender to both to realize that you're somewhere in the middle? So you're from Wapakoneta?
Oh, okay.
That's not far.
That's up. Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the positive aspect in any connection.
Wapakoneta is a minute.
Yeah.
From here.
Yeah.
It's up north.
4 hours?
About 3 or 4 hours. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I did meditation before I met my twin. She's from Boston. I'm from Chicago. That's
awesome.
Oh,
man.
Boy, that's.
Ooh, the accent's there.
Yeah. In both.
Oh, man.
Let's
Where
see.
Neil Armstrong is from. Yeah.
You have the same birthday. Oh, that's amazing.
That's awesome. Who do you have?
The twin from Boston and Chicago.
Oh.
Sherry,
that's awesome.
Sherry be cool. Oh no, Sherry ripped him up. Nope.
Sherry had to do a little meditation.
Sherry.
Oh, good.
Yeah. What is a good place for twin flames? Where is a good place for twin flames to
I'm
travel?
going to tell you what was most magical for us. St. John.
St. Thomas.
St. John.
St. John. Yeah. When we were in St. Thomas, we went to St. John, and there was something we had to like get out of the vehicle and then go walk a ways to get to the beach.
Yeah.
But once we got there, I remember it was just there was an energy there that made the water sparkle, and it was just magical. That was on our honeymoon. It was amazing. We got to go back.
We do got to go back. The resort that we actually stayed at was an all-inclusive resort, and they are down right now. They got wiped out by the hurricane, and they're rebuilding.
From 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, and they are rebuilding, but they are now open to people that are working on the island. So they're looking to open, I guess, in 2020. So we go there. But I will say this. Ohio seems kind of boring, but Lee and I do personal retreats out here. If you're interested, let us know. You can come to our haven here for 2 or 3 nights, depending on your preference. It is a full service root camp. It is pretty brutal, but so cleansing. Here where we're at, in the middle of
and you get to be right here at the center
nowhere.
of our connection, where time doesn't really exist.
Right.
So don't expect to know what time it is.
We are in a what they call a time vortex. We had some of our coaches out here, some of our instructors out here last fall, and time just would go away.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
The energy was crazy. It drained all the batteries. You've heard it. I'm sure.
If you're looking for presence, this would be the place.
Yeah, it's very spiritual out here. It's very cleansing. If you've been here and experienced it, then put your little review down there, because it's quite the experience. But I love it here.
Mm.
I love the beach. I love the ocean. I think it's magical. I need a place to vacation.
Absolutely.
But as far as a home,
Yeah.
this is
Come visit us.
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But the places to visit, St. John was awesome.
Yeah.
St. John was awesome.
There are two lines of thinking of twin flames. Some think everyone has a twin. Some think it's rare, like in nature. Not everyone has a twin. Where are both of you on this? I can answer this. Just as you could sit next to somebody on a bus and feel something somehow, some way, there's always going to be someone that you can sit next to or come into contact with who will have a stronger vibration than anyone else. I'm not saying that this is something everybody has. I'm just saying that not everybody knows that they're allowed to have it. Some things are just so deeply rooted in mind noise, you really never really experience feeling. There are people who will live here in this planet and never feel a thing. It just means that they're further away from what they're allowed to have. I guess it's about the experience. I don't know what everybody else believes, but I look on the inside, and I look on the inside of what this connection has brought to me. And I can't see how people can be here without it. It's not that I don't. I want everybody to experience connection where they're free. I don't have a preference of whether or not that means that there's so many or so little. I don't think that really is the point. I think the point is are we all allowed to have connection? I don't think anybody has a right to tell somebody they shouldn't or they can't.
Right.
And I don't think anybody should be out there touting that only a few will.
That's
just like saying everybody's got to stay asleep while some of us get to wake up, and I just don't see the point.
I have to on that one.
I'm sorry.
I don't know what it triggers me so badly. I just get so triggered. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a trigger for me.
It's like you're not allowed to have true love.
It's almost like
what sounds like everybody's saying.
People try to tell us that the life we live isn't real.
Yeah.
But we live it every single day, the good and the bad.
Oh.
Because I promise you, just as good as the connection is when it's good, it's just as bad as the connection is when it's bad.
Amen.
Okay? I mean, we love hard and we fight hard.
But there's no one else I'd rather be in cycle with.
Right. Right. That's the difference. And I have a big, huge problem with I swear I think we should start a church. But anyway, I have a problem with organized religion. I have a problem with religion. I have a problem with this.
Just let go of your problems.
Get
out of judgment.
It's hard. It's hard.
No,
it's
let
hard
it go. Let it
not
go.
to judge the judge.
No. The only judge we need to think about is the one your father used to drive.
No judgment. No judgment.
The runner-chaser dynamic in the surrender stage is all a process. By cheating, I made myself believe I had surrendered without actually doing it. So when my TF returned, all I did was purge more. Okay, we can go deep into that. I guess my only question would be, by cheating, I made myself believe I had surrendered without actually doing it. Why did you have to?
Yeah.
Maybe they tell this because they have no explanation for this strong connection.
And that's very possible.
I have a question. Can people feel others' twin flames emotions and what they're going through when they're not in union? What if the other is asleep?
Try doing what we do for a living all day, every day. We sat here literally on these balls, the ball too. And we talk to twin flames all the time. We most certainly take on what they're feeling. And here's the reason.
But we
Because
stay
we've
grounded.
been there, right?
Yes.
So we can resonate with what they're saying, and we can guide them into a different direction than we took. You know what I'm saying? And they get different results, and kind of it. This is how I look at it. It's like a loop. Like, I know in your city you have bypasses or loops that get around the main part of the interstate. We have 75 and 275 that runs around it, a circle,
Mhm.
right? It's like we are like 275.
Bypass. Yeah. You need the bypass.
We can give them the bypass
Yes.
route to get away from all the bullshit that we had to go through.
The construction that's
Yes.
on those main ones isn't the construction or the deconstruction you want to go to. So
Right.
we're going to take you around to show you what that looks like first, so you can make a better decision on which
Yes.
path to use.
And yes, I have felt. We had a set of twins. We were setting with. We were on a trip, and I could feel one feeling this and the other feeling something else. It was real prevalent. Where some other good friends of ours who are twins, when you're in their presence, you feel their energy. You actually do pick up their worries, their stresses. You don't know what they're about,
Yes.
but you can feel them being there. Just a tad bit of worry, a tad bit of stress, a little a little turmoil, but a lot of peace.
Sure.
And it felt. I felt them.
Mhm.
I connected with them and felt them. You can feel them for sure.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Whether asleep or awake, you
Yeah.
feel both.
For sure.
I don't know that you actually. I think the way that we experience asleep and awake is we literally want to tell ourselves that certain thought processes or patterns are keeping them
Mhm.
from waking up. But if you just get into what they feel, you can realize that sometimes things are not what they seem.
We have less than 3 minutes.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Lee explained his work in detail. That was an important part of you all coming together. Sherry, can you talk a little bit about your work?
Oh man. If you watched our story, you know that I was set down by the universe for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I needed to sit down and shut up. I've had spiritual gifts since I was a young child, and I use them sometimes for party favors and sometimes for not so good. I don't know. I had some dark things go on in my life. Some dark things happened to me, and it spun me into a very dark place. With sexual abuse and physical abuse, it beats you down to a place where you feel like you don't deserve anything, that you're not worth much, that you're one of those in a category that can be used and thrown out and thrown away. When you grow up with other female children in the home and you're the only one getting abused, you feel like you're the unworthy one, right? The not so good one. So you live a life of not being so good and doing things that would otherwise jeopardize your health, your freedom, your sanity, so many things. I had to go into sort of a cocoon. And the first step for me was facing everything that I had ever done in my life to hurt anybody. And facing the fact that I didn't deserve what happened to me and I was better than that and I was worthy. And forgiving myself for not forgiving myself years before. Forgiving myself for carrying guilt and for carrying blame and shame and hatred and unforgiveness and all these negative things that bring you into a dark place. It took 2 years of self-reflection without deflection There's a video, reflection without deflection.
Oh, that is good.
I didn't want to go through a self-reflection and deflect on anybody else for anything. Shit happened to me. The key there was coming out of victim into survivorship. It was freeing. The self-work is still ongoing. I look at myself in the mirror all of the time, and I have to reaffirm what I feel about myself, and I'm honest. If I'm feeling bad about myself, if I've got a zit right here, if I've put on an extra 5 pounds, if I've taken off an extra 15 pounds, if I have a swollen eye, if I have my freckles are showing, if my teeth aren't white enough, all these things, I will tell myself in the mirror, you look like hell. And then I will back it up with, let's fix this. So if I have to jump in the shower and wash off the ick, I will. If I have to put my feet in water to ground myself, and that seems to work a lot for me. If I have to go into a meditation, or if I just have to cry, I take those steps and I do that. If I'm feeling particularly horrible about myself, Lee can feel it and he knows it. And I treat him like I feel about myself. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of asking myself the questions that I came up with for our root camp program. Our root camp program is based off of my self-work, my personal self-work, coming out of years of sexual abuse as a child and as a teenager, physical abuse as a young adult, you name it. So I had to ask myself the questions because nobody else was asking me them. So I took it upon myself to go into healing and remain a survivor. Sometimes I'll find myself in the land of victimization, right? And I have to pull myself out and throw myself back into survival. No, you don't have to be that way. I'm not giving away my power anymore, right?
Yeah.
Standing in my power is rough sometimes. Standing and staying in my power and not allowing my power to be stripped from me anymore has become a defense mechanism to me as an adult. And that's hard to negotiate and navigate sometimes. It was a lot of deep work, a lot of crying, a lot of ego killing, right? A lot of who gives a shit what everybody else thinks. What do you think? Right? And changing that thought process into something positive and not negative, right? Telling my brain to listen to my body.
It's very challenging.
It's very challenging.
But I would tell you the biggest thing I saw from the work that you did is you changed your belief system. Mm-hmm. A belief system that literally you were taking from the outside in instead of the outside out. Which I think was probably, it's probably one of the most difficult things to do as a human being, is go in and look at your own belief systems and see if they're the truth. I mean, that's literally what this connection is, right? I mean, how can you be in union? Here's a good, I like this question because the question points to something that literally everybody needs to hear. Detachment through self-love without expectations of union, right? But there are people who say you have to visualize the union and co-create. How to detach if we think about the union to visualize? The one piece to this whole thing that's missing is, aren't you already the person who is in union? And how are you showing up for yourself now if you're not? If you're thinking about what another person who you're connected to is going to show up and be there with, you need to start focusing on who you're going to be now when that happens. If you're not in that now and you're complaining that they're not there with you through it, you're going to, union's just going to elude you anyway because union starts with you. We already think we did a video on
Yeah,
that.
we did.
Yeah. So we love you guys.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
There's
wait a
one more
minute.
I really
There's
wanted
more.
to answer.
Oh, okay.
I don't mean to keep you guys longer than an hour, but
Oh.
I feel like there's no more work I can do relationship-wise right now that I need the other person to come around to trigger me to heal more. Is that unusual, or am I deluding myself? I can do relationship-wise work right now, or that I need.
If there's no more work,
Then there's no more triggering.
right? I mean, that would be the truth, right? So when you go into it, or if you're saying, well, why aren't they? I need to wait till they, and here's another one that
We
actually,
still get triggered, child. Look.
I have to call, before we go, I have to call attention to this one. Timing. Timing is my problem. I find myself trying to control divine timing, and it's just not possible.
Ooh, it's not. I've tried it. You should have asked me first, because I could have sure told you that it didn't work.
Okay.
I sure could have told you.
Let's talk about this. We've all got this one particular thing that shows up in this connection, and this connection, once it actually interferes in the connection, your connection goes into disconnection status. The moment you connect the time, you're connecting to psychological time. You're not connecting to clock time. Clock time is now. Psychological time is where you see this going in the future based on past, and literally you are not present for any fucking thing. Sorry, that word slipped out. But literally that's what your connection to time is here to fuck you. And you need to go ahead and just get rid of it. Well, it is. It's all based on, think about it. We think about, it was so good in the past, it was so good in the future, and we literally keep abandoning being connected now.
Right.
And you need the presence of the other person to be that way? No, you end up going, I'm going to disconnect from you, and you connect the time to a space where we're going to be together. It's a state of suffering. It's a hidden loophole in connection that we all think we have some control over. And literally, once we actually let time have control over the connection, time, this says here, have it. But when we want to connect to time and control time, we can't have it. We don't even see, it's a mind, it's just a maze. It's a maze where you're never going to get out because you're trapped in a space that's relative to time. And time really has never been anything anybody could control. So you let time be the variable or the reason why you can't be connected now. Well, when they finally change, when they finally come and show, when I finally hear from them, they stop talking to me. There's so much time in between. And, I feel like an idiot for saying, we've heard it. You literally go into a line of judgment in time, and the other person literally has to stand back and wait for you. And you think they're asleep.
We got to get to the hockey rink.
Yes, we do.
And thank you guys for putting up with my eating of my crackers to keep my sugar from killing me.
Choose now. That's all you can choose. Right here in this moment. If you're in this moment, you're watching this video, you're sitting here with us right now, however many of you there are you being present? And are you now? And then right now, is your heart open or closed to the one you're deeply connected to? That's your choice. If you can't see that choice beyond anything else, you're just connected to time. That's not even being connected to who you're sitting next to. We love you guys.
Yes. Poland, yes.
Yes.
Email us,
Yeah.
info, INFO, at relationshipreinvented.com. Relationship Reinvented is one word. Or you can visit www.relationshipreinvented, all one word, .com for the website, coaching prices, etc. So relationshipreinvented.com is where you will find us. You can also email us at info@relationshipreinvented.com.
Yes. And if you need some help, we're here. We got you. Sorry, we've been absent for a minute. We've got Patreon, this, Patterson PR, we're doing regular sessions, we're doing root camps, we're doing coaching, we're still training coaches. So we are here. We love you guys. Miss you guys. Don't worry, we'll be here soon. Love you.